Thank you for joining us today. With this convocation, we recognize and honor the unique achievements of the new graduates of the Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health. We would like to begin by acknowledging the land that the School of Public Health inhabits. Land recognition helps us recall the sacrifices that indigenous peoples have made and their continued significance as part of our community. Land recognition is just one way in which we can appreciate the contributions and counter the erasure of indigenous peoples. We humbly acknowledge that the Johns Hopkins University is located on the traditional and contemporary homelands of indigenous peoples. Our campus resides on unceded lands of the Piscataway and the Susquehannock peoples. We recognize the enduring presence of more than 7,000 indigenous peoples in the Baltimore city, including the Piscataway, Lumbee, and Eastern Band of Cherokee community members. As we gather from places across the country and the globe, we honor and recognize indigenous peoples of our homelands. Together we acknowledge the history of genocide and ongoing systemic inequities while respecting treaties made on this territory as a step towards reconciliation and strengthening relationships with indigenous peoples. We give thanks to the past, present, and future stewards of this land and respect all tribal nations' sovereignty and right to self-determination. we aim to hold ourselves and the university community accountable to the tribal nations. I now have the honor to present Dr. Ellen McKenzie, Dean of the Bloomberg School of Public Health, who will preside over these exercises.
Graduates, family and friends, distinguished guests, faculty and staff, welcome to the 103rd Convocation of the Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health. To our graduates, my deepest congratulations. You have worked hard, studied hard, and met all of the requirements for your degree. And you've done it all in the throes of a pandemic. I know you have been challenged in many unexpected ways, and we should award each of you a PhD in perseverance and at least a master's in Zoom. This is your moment of possibilities. The world, as broken as it seems at times, is before you and needs you. Opportunities abound. After all, you have a degree from the #1 School of Public Health, and the world needs your knowledge, your passion, and your determination. Today, we graduate 948 students from 61 countries. 103 of you will receive doctoral degrees and 845 master's degrees. I would like to extend a special congratulations to our centennial MPH class. 100 years ago, our first cohort of only 5 students graduated. Like you, they were entering public health when the world was recovering from a pandemic, the 1918 flu. It is amazing to think how far we have come, and yet how far we still need to go. In addition to you, our graduates, I would like to recognize today's other important participants. First, I want to thank our remarkable faculty who quickly launched our Virtual Plus campus and offered nearly 500 online classes last fall alone. They ensured you had an exceptional experience in a year of many challenges. I also want to thank all of the parents, grandparents, spouses, partners, children, siblings, and friends who have supported you on your journey. They have cheered you on and held you up in tough times. On behalf of the school, I thank each and every one of you. Now, I cannot help but think about this time last year. I thought our virtual convocation back then would be a once-in-a-lifetime event, and that we would all be back together this year, shaking your hands as we present you with your hard-earned degree and sharing congratulatory hugs. But the virus had other plans, spreading so much faster than our attempts to stop it. Europe, the United States, Brazil, and others have suffered incalculable losses. And now India is fighting a catastrophic surge. Johns Hopkins stands with India through our collaborations and many colleagues and friends there. Special recognition goes to our Chief Marshal Anand Bang, who has been working tirelessly in managing the COVID crisis there. While the speed at which COVID-19 vaccines were developed provides so much hope, we must now make sure they are widely available and used both here at home and around the world. Only then will we be able to return to a more normal life and hopefully one day share that handshake. Meanwhile, I want you to know that even though this convocation is virtual, our recognition of your hard work and your dedication to the public's health is very real. This year has tested us in so many ways. While the power of public health has been put on full display, so has its fragility. Our world has been turned upside down, not only by the pandemic, but also by a long overdue reckoning with inequity, racism, and injustice. Exactly 365 days ago, a Minneapolis police officer killed George Floyd. His death led to countless demonstrations that argued unequivocally that Black lives matter. The verdict last month, holding Derek Chauvin accountable for the murder of Mr. Floyd, was an important and public step for justice, even though it cannot bring his life back or ease the suffering of his family and community. We have also witnessed racism against Asian Americans and other marginalized groups. Each act of violence grieves me, and I know it grieves you too. This is a pain we should all suffer until racism and inequity of all kinds are eliminated. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. put this thought more eloquently on April 16, 1963, in his letter from a Birmingham jail. He wrote, "Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. We are caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of destiny. Whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly." We must not lose sight of the promise of a different future and our role in making that future possible. I would ask that we take a moment of silence to honor all of those who lost their lives or endured injustice or inequity, and to commit to eliminating such loss and suffering. Thank you. It is true, we are all tied in a single garment of destiny. At the Bloomberg School, we are working together and holding each other accountable. Our new Office of Inclusion, Diversity, Anti-Racism, and Equity, or IDARE, published its action plan in late March. This is not a check the box and put it on the shelf kind of a plan. Rather, it identifies key strategies to fuel our creativity and excellence by cultivating a more equitable, inclusive, anti-racist, and socially just community. And I call on all of you to do your part. Your commitment to public health must also mean a commitment to ending racism. This brings me back to your moment of possibilities, the possibilities for you and for public health. I want to offer a bit of vision and some advice. First, the vision. When you entered your degree program, public health was still hobbled by decades of neglect and held back by politics. That is changing. The value of public health has been recognized more so than ever before. For the first time, our friends and families truly understand what we do. The public is using terms like herd immunity and flattening the curve. They understand how protecting others around them and in their community protects their own health and the health of loved ones. Now is the time to re-envision public health and to address the social drivers of health once and for all. We need to work across sectors to create the social and economic structures that generate healthy populations. Now is the time to reinvest in our public health workforce so that they can help secure the population's health every day and serve us well in times of crisis. And now is the time to rebuild our public health system, ensuring it is fully integrated with our health care system and focuses on prevention as much as it does on cure. And now is the time for you to lead, to be a catalyst for change. You're poised to join an amazing group of alumni who are making a difference. Take, for example, Celine Gounder and Lois Pace, who worked on President-elect Biden's COVID task force. Raj Punjabi, who now leads the President's Malaria Initiative. Lauren Underwood, who represents Illinois' 14th District in the U.S. Congress. And Chen Jin-jen, the former Vice President of Taiwan, who led his country's successful response in the critical first months of SARS-CoV-2. You are following in their incredible footsteps and dedicating your life's work to the noblest of goals, protecting health and saving lives, millions at a time. Now I have two pieces of advice for you. First, take action. Be bold, risk failure, and risk unimaginable success. Accumulate data and build your evidence. And don't let that evidence stagnate in a journal article or a report. Get those hard-won insights into the right hands and make a difference. Second, build your resilience. You can expect hard times ahead. Sometimes the hours will be very long. but make sure to take care of your body so it can take care of your mind and your soul. Exercise and get plenty of sleep and eat your vegetables. I know, I sound like the mom that I am, but the fight is long and you need to stay fit for the fight. So practice what we all preach. Prioritize your well-being and the well-being of those around you. The writer, poet, and civil rights activist Maya Angelou said it best. My mission in life is not merely to survive, but to thrive, and to do so with some passion, some compassion, some humor, and some style. This is my greatest wish for you, that you thrive in life and career. So in closing, do your part to take down racism and build up public health. Remember, we are all part of a single garment of destiny. Take action to save lives and build your inner resilience. And do it all with passion, compassion, humor, and style. This is my final piece of advice for you. Seize this special moment of possibilities for yourself and the world. Thank you and best wishes.
Greetings, all. It is with great joy that I am addressing you all today, not just as a leader, but as a fellow graduating student. My name is Priya Khaitan, and I am an outgoing Masters of Science student in the Department of Molecular Microbiology and Immunology. I want to extend my heartiest congratulations to all of you today. It has been a difficult year, and you all made it through. Over the past year, I had the honor to serve as the president of the Student Assembly and ensure that all of you knew you were heard and you felt represented. This academic year was challenging, to say the least, with two major public health crises. I want to take a moment to appreciate how far we all have come this year, not just as students, but as the future of public health. Each one of us contributed in our own way to alleviate the public health crises we faced, whether it was through research, spreading awareness, advocating, or following the guidelines as strictly as possible. While this year taught us a lot about perseverance and compassion, it also taught us about the importance of mental health and to appreciate the smaller things in life. I hope you all carry these lessons with you and any lessons that you may have learned this year into the next chapter in your lives. Be proud that you made it through, but also remember to take a moment to check in with yourself. After all, mental health is still a public health matter. I wish to share something I learned over the past few months as I strived to write my thesis. Success is not a generalizable term. As the writer Mark Manson stated in one of his books, your definition of success is based on the values and metrics you decide matter. I hope this helps you value as well as celebrate yourself and your achievements regardless of the magnitude. As I sign off one last time as a member of the Student Assembly and a student in the school, I want to congratulate all of you once again on this wonderful achievement and wish you all the success and happiness in your future endeavors.
School of Public Health has a long tradition of providing its students with instruction of the highest quality. We are honored today to recognize excellence in teaching. Before we present this year's Golden Apple Awards, let's hear from the past awardees.
Greetings from Baltimore, Maryland. My name is John McGrady from the Department of Biostatistics of the Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School, and this is my cat Louisa, the Zoom fanatic and expert in phi-linear regression, and we're here to congratulate you on your upcoming graduation from the Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School. This is a remarkable achievement in general, certainly made even more remarkable by the difficulties in finishing a degree in the past year, given the pandemic and such, and you all have persevered, been flexible, balanced many things while working towards this goal, and you should be very proud of yourself. And Louise and I, for one, are very happy to have capable, smart, talented individuals like yourself entering the world of public health. So again, in short, we just want to wish you a hearty congratulations. And while we can't be there with you in person, we look forward to joining you online and celebrating your achievement together.
Graduates, congratulations on your achievements and your hard-earned, well-deserved successes. Best wishes as you embark on the next steps of your adventure as a scientist, a practitioner, and a champion of public health.
Welcome to this exciting day, which celebrates the culmination of your time here at Johns Hopkins. This day marks your transition from a student of public health to practitioner. Without a doubt, this past year has shown a spotlight on the need for and the power of science and public health. At this critical juncture, communities ranging from local to global need you and your skills, knowledge, and energy. It is time to put into practice all you've learned. As one of the spatial analysis faculty, I look forward to seeing your work both on and, of course, beyond the map. Enjoy your day and accomplishments, and a wholehearted congratulations to you.
Congratulations to the 2021 graduates from the Bloomberg School of Public Health. You've weathered a global pandemic, civil unrest and insurrection, isolation from loved ones, and fundamental ways in which we communicate with each other. Today marks your success in meeting those challenges. Now it's time to take your education, combined with your vast experience and talents, to improve the health of populations across the world, millions at a time.
Congratulations, class of 2021 JHSPH. Completing your degrees required talent and hard work. But what I've been most impressed with this year is your dedication, your resilience, and your flexibility. These qualities will serve you very well as you seek to transform our world. Congratulations again. I feel our future is in very good hands.
Congratulations, 2021 graduates. I'm sorry we can't be there in person to celebrate your accomplishments. And I know a year of virtual schooling has not been your preferred way to complete your studies. But just know that your chosen profession of public health is the one that the world needs now more than any other. And I hope that reality inspires you as you move forward.
Congratulations, graduates. This year has shown that our field needs you now more than ever. So I wish you all the very best. Congratulations.
At the end of each academic year, the Student Assembly and the Student Association recognize the excellent work done by our faculty. This year, they went above and beyond their roles to ensure that we all felt comfortable with the online format while continuing to challenge ourselves in class. It is my privilege to announce recipients of the Student Assembly's Golden Apple Awards for Excellence in Teaching for the academic year 2020-2021. The Golden Apple Award for Excellence in Teaching a Small Class goes to Dr. Keku Nuama for teaching the class on armed conflict and health in the Department of International Health. The Golden Apple Award for Excellence in Teaching a Medium Class goes to Dr. Mary Elizabeth Hughes for teaching the class on demographic methods in public health in the Department of Population, Family, and Reproductive Health, and to Dr. Antonio Trujillo for teaching the class on Econometrics 1 in the Department of International Health. The Golden Apple Award for Excellence in Teaching a Large Class goes to Dr. Marie D. Norwest, who taught the 620 series of biostatistics in the Department of Biostatistics. Please join me in congratulating and celebrating all of our awardees.
And now a special honor, the Ernest Lyman Stebbins Medal, the school's highest tribute to a member of its faculty. The award recognizes a faculty member for exceptional contributions to the development of educational programs. And this year's recipient is Dr. John McGreedy, senior scientist in the Department of Biostatistics. John developed the foundational course, Statistical Reasoning in Public Health, and has been teaching it online since 2000. The energy and dedication John brings to his teaching attest to how deeply he cares about his students. He has consistently garnered phenomenal ratings for students, winning a veritable orchard of Golden Apple Teaching Awards. His excellence in teaching has also been recognized by the Association for Schools and Programs in Public Health and by the American Statistical Association. His curriculum has been adapted for offerings in Finland, Armenia, Iraq, India, and Taiwan. Via a massive open online course, he has taught hundreds of thousands of students. When the school moved to remote teaching because of the pandemic, he helped his fellow faculty transition to online instruction as a peer teaching mentor. John is an unparalleled teacher of biostatistics and has had a tremendously positive influence on aspiring scientists and public health practitioners. I'm so very proud to present him with this award. Please join me in honoring Dr. John McGready. We have one more honor to share today, the Dean's Medal, which is the highest recognition that the school confers on public health leaders. It is my true honor to bestow the Dean's Medal on Dr. Kizzmekia Corbett, an exceptional basic scientist and a true public health hero. Dr. Corbett and her colleagues helped develop one of the key COVID vaccines in record time. And those of you who have received the Moderna vaccine, you can thank this woman. In addition to her exceptional work as a viral immunologist, she is committed to making sure that the benefits of discovery reach all people, especially communities of color. She took it upon herself to educate and address the fears of people about the vaccine in ways only she could. She combined her science with community advocacy and is making a difference. Dr. Corbett epitomizes the kind of scientist we strive to mentor here at the Bloomberg School, one who is dedicated to discovery and its translation through the lens of health equity and social justice. Tiffany Onyegiaka, one of our students, said it best in an open letter to Dr. Corbett. She wrote, "You are one of my biggest pandemic heroes. I cannot fully describe how much hope and optimism you helped to relay to me and many other Black people across the country as we continued to witness how this virus decimated so many in our community." Dr. Corbett, thank you for your scientific contributions, your leadership, your commitment to health equity, and for inspiring so many Tiffanys graduating this year with a degree in public health. Please join me in congratulating Dr. Corbett on this special honor. And now it gives me great pleasure to invite Dr. Corbett to give our convocation address. Dr. Corbett has spent nearly half of her life studying viruses. After earning a PhD from the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill in 2014, she began her vaccine research at the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases. Fortunately for us, she worked on developing novel coronavirus vaccines. She and her team were ready when the world needed them most. The vaccine they envisioned went to phase 1 clinical trials just 66 days after the viral sequence's release. An astounding feat with world-changing impact. Please join me in giving Dr. Corbett a very warm welcome.
Thank you to Dean McKenzie for that warm welcome and for bestowing upon me the Dean's Medal. For me, at the age of 35, from the dean of one of the leading schools of public health in the world, this medal comes almost like a Presidential Medal of Freedom. I am honored. I am humbled. Thank you. And thank you moreover for the opportunity to address the Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health class of 2021. Congratulations. You did it. You did it boldly, you did it fearlessly, and you did it intelligently. Atop of it all, you did it in a pandemic. In order to finish off the last of your degree, you embarked upon more different and difficult times than this world, especially in the public health sphere, has seen in the last 100 years. So thank you. Thank you for doing it. And I don't just thank you for myself, I thank you for the entire world. I thank you for every single being on this planet today and whom will be born for eternity. Every single being who will benefit from your scholarship, and as Dean McKenzie stated, your dedication to discovery and its translation through the lens of health equity and social justice. You are the future of public health. You are the future of social justice. You are the next pandemic's worst enemy. And that comes because you are now prepared. Preparedness. It is likely a term that you have heard several times in the last year. Pandemic preparedness is how we like to call it in the field of vaccinology that I am in. It is the way that we were able to get into a phase 1 clinical trial with a vaccine candidate for COVID-19 in only 66 days. And it is one of the ways the world will be able to return to some level of pre-pandemic normalcy. I looked up the definition of preparedness for completeness. You know, like the researcher that I am. According to our dear friends at Merriam-Webster, preparedness is a state of being prepared. Well, duh. However, there's a dramatic pause, especially in case of war. I know it seems pretty dramatic to me too, and that is why I had to reread it a couple of times in order to allow it to sink in. A state of being prepared, especially in case of war. I guess one could say that if you are adequately prepared for war, you are adequately prepared for anything. I didn't necessarily consider our efforts in preparedness for war, but after having lived through it, I guess I am inclined to agree. Now let's talk about the wars, so to speak, that have waged over this past year. I know that you are all from over 50 countries, but as not to bore you with an everlasting list, I will talk specifically about here. First off, in the past year, 985 people have been killed by police. I will just call that being at war with our protectors. And then there is the highest reported rates of hate crimes against Asian Americans and Asians in the last year. Safe to say, we are at war with our neighbors. And finally, the obvious. The COVID-19 pandemic has hit 192 countries or regions, caused over 150 million cases, and more than 3 million deaths worldwide. In this country alone, Black and brown people died at much higher rates than their white counterparts from COVID-19. Let's just say we are at war with the virus. In each of these instances, one thing that stands out the most is that communities of other oftentimes are the target, and sometimes, as in the case of COVID-19, not for any other reason other than it just be like that. This is the world that we live in. This is the society that we have allowed to get to this point. These things, and of course more, are part of the reasons why you chose a career in public health. Me too. When I was at the University of Maryland, Baltimore County, I walked up and down the streets of Baltimore and counted cigarette butts. I perused the aisles of grocery stores counting heads of fresh lettuce. The research was under a large study called Healthy Aging in Neighborhoods of Diversity Across a Lifespan. That study has rendered data, just like many other studies, that show that one's environment, without any other factors, can affect their health outcomes. You knew that already. You didn't just spend all of those years in this great institution to not know that. But that, to me, at 20 years old was astonishing. I attributed all of my family's health outcomes to just, genetics, or it just be like that. Well, It was also at that time that I was interning at the NIH in the Vaccine Research Center. This was in the cusp of the HIV pandemic. And the goal of the center was to quickly work toward an HIV vaccine. And the more that I learned about vaccines, the more I thought that with these inexpensive preventative medicines, we could maybe equalize the playing field. No matter where people lived. We all know that that comes with caveats, but in the end, yes, vaccines have the potential to be one of the great equalizers of health disparities. And so, I prepared for war. In the same ways that you have prepared yourself to fight the wars of health equity and injustices that you hold so dear. I know that we didn't go off to get our fancy degrees and think about it that way, but scholastic endeavors are certainly analogous to preparedness for war. Just think about it. All of the components are there. All of the components were here at Hopkins for you. The fact of the matter is that preparing for war isn't so different than a career in public health. I don't say that to scare you one bit. I tell you that because it is true. First, you start with the basics. You get the skill set and the basis for any battle, or in the case of a career, any field. These basics are your technical and writing skills, the way that you learn to communicate. These are the things that at the end of the day will be the backdrop of your CV and that you will be able to call on or pull out of pocket, so to speak, at any stage of your career. You know, the reason why they call them basics is because they are the things that at any time you can build upon. You can leave here and do anything. You can go hone one skill or another. You can go off and get another degree if you choose. But what you learned here in boot camp will always be yours to know and use. Next, for war, you assemble your allies. I was once quoted saying, "Who would want to save the world alone? What a burden to bear." The same applies here, in that who would want to go about their career alone? Here at Hopkins, you gained your allies. These allies are your mentors, your colleagues, your collaborators, and your classmates. They are the network that you have built during this time that will be the army that you take to war with you forever. They sometimes have skills that you may not. They will pick you up if you get shot down. And your allies' purpose is to make sure that you are not left in the war zone or career trajectory alone. Now, it's time to arm yourself. No, not with a gun, but to find your secret weapon. This is a thing that is yours to behold, the thing that is your purpose to this world. This isn't really just about being a scientist or vaccinologist or statistician that you are. This is just your being, the part of you that you will take to every single profession or place that you embark on in your lifetime. This is the thing that makes you uniquely you. Everyone in this graduating class is now a public health professional. But your being, the pieces of you that are unparalleled to anything that anyone else has to offer, will come from remembering from where you came, from where you conquered, here at Hopkins and every other step along the way. And then lastly, you will fight. That's it. You will take your basic training, you will assemble your allies, and you will fight. It won't necessarily be easy always, but you are prepared for it. Understand there will likely be times when you are exhausted and overwhelmed. You will probably get bruised or burned or cut even, but you will not fold. You will not be defeated by this world's wars on health equity or social justice or racial disparities or healthcare costs. When you think those enemies have gotten the best of you, that is when you pull out your secret weapon. That is when you remember who you are. And that is how you win. Congratulations.
I now invite the class of 2021 to recite the International Declaration of Health Rights. The document, composed by the faculty and students on the occasion of the School of Public Health's 75th anniversary, expresses the deepest aspirations of public health professionals and scientists.
We as people concerned about health improvement in the world
do hereby commit ourselves to advocacy and action
to promote the health rights of all human beings.
The enjoyment of the highest attainable standard of health is one of the fundamental rights of every human being.
It is not a privilege reserved for those with power, money, or social standing.
Health is more than the absence of disease,
But it includes prevention, illness,
Development of individual potential,
And a positive sense of physical,
mental, and social well-being.
Healthcare should be based on dialogue and collaboration between citizens, professionals, communities, and policymakers.
health services should be affordable,
accessible,
effective,
efficient, and convenient.
Health begins with healthy development of the child and a positive family environment.
Health must be sustained by the active role of men and women in health and development.
The role of women and their welfare must be recognized and addressed.
Healthcare for the elderly
should preserve dignity,
respect, and concern for quality of life,
and not merely extend life.
Health requires a sustainable environment with balanced human population growth
and preservation of cultural diversity.
Health depends on the availability to all people of basic essentials.
Food, safe water,
Housing,
education,
productive employment, protection from pollution, and prevention of social alienation.
Health depends on protection from exploitation
Without distinction of race,
religion,
political belief,
Economic or social condition.
Health requires peaceful and equitable development and collaboration of all peoples.
Hello, Leslie. Thanks for calling. What? I'm overdue on putting together the public health stretch for convocation? Look, I've got a really good explanation. I've been so busy here in my basement doing work. It's just been really hard to... Okay, I'll get on it. Okay, no need to threaten to tweet that about me. All right, time to think. I need people to help me with the public health stretch. I'm gonna have to find a Zoom to crash. Hi guys, looks like this is an important meeting between the Anna Bacher Society and Dean McKenzie and the school leadership. Sorry to bother you, but I wonder if you might be able to help me with the public health stretch this year? What do you think? Yes, okay, thanks so much, Dean McKenzie. Let's do this. Okay, everyone, that includes you at home. I know it's been a very difficult year, and we're gonna try to find some space for a nice stretch and self-care. Here we go. Okay. First to the right. Let's stretch public health creatively, inventing new ways to tackle health challenges like violence, mental health, and climate. Now to the left. Let's stretch public health globally, recognizing the importance of health and well-being in every corner of the world to the health of us all. Now out to stretch public health morally, understanding the importance of speaking up for what's right, even when it isn't easy. And now let's stretch public health, musically? Okay, very, very good. Here we go again. To the right, we're stretching public health politically to connect with even those people who are hesitant to listen. To the left, stretching public health scientifically to use cutting-edge evidence and insight to save lives. Now we're stretching public health out demographically to diversify the ranks of students, staff, and faculty. And then let's stretch public health joyfully because we love our graduates. All right, one last time. Stretch to the right for a world of education, health, and opportunity for all children and families. Stretch to the left for a future when racism, gender-based violence, and other forms of discrimination do not limit human potential. Stretch out for a world where humanity comes together to fight COVID and other infectious and chronic diseases. And finally, let's turn that last stretch into a hug for ourselves that represents hugs for those who have helped us reach this point, even those who may no longer be with us. Finally, one last jump for joy for our graduates. Thank you all for participating in the 2021 Public Health Stretch.